Welcome back to Dolphins United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard me. Being away for a little while, I had my bye week too. All right, so I went and chilled for a little bit before we got right back to it. All right, so we back at it. This is going to be a banger video. I already know it. I feel it in my bones. All right, we just going to talk about Tua real quick. Because still to this day, they won't leave Tua alone, okay? That's within the franchise, the fans, not the franchise like the organization, but within the fan base and within the media, they won't leave Tua alone. So we need to talk about Tua real quick. We're going to answer some questions today because we need to know and solidify if what we're looking at is a mirage, a facade, a fugazi, a fake, a fraud, Tua, or are we looking at the real deal, Holyfield? All right? What Tua are we getting right now? Are we getting a Tua that is playing beyond what he should be, or are we getting a Tua that's playing within himself? Are we getting the Tua we thought we were going to get, or are we getting a Tua that's about to crash and burn? Like, these are the answers that people are looking for because they don't know what to believe. I'm here to bring common sense into the situation like I tend to do on my channel. All right? We just look at everything and then we go with common doggone sense because common sense ain't common no more. All right? So we going to be a common sense channel. We're going to look at everything, and we're going to make our assessment based off of the facts, all right? Not based off how we feel, but based off of the facts, the absolute facts. And the facts are Tua is balling, all right? That's the facts. Ain't nothing to say about that. I don't care if you got a problem with his arm strength or what have you. I don't care. Tua's balling, plain and simple. There's nothing else to talk about when it comes to him balling, all right? We don't need a but nothing. He's balling, all right? Now, valid question is for how long, right? How long is Tua balling for? How long can he keep this up for? Is he playing outside himself? Some of the questions I just asked a little earlier, right, before I went into that. Fair questions. Fair, all right? There's nothing wrong with questions, okay? We just don't need to be delusional. We don't need to be misreading it because of fear. We don't need to do that. We don't need to be just straight up pessimistic. We don't need to do that, okay? There's no need, fans, for us to sit here and be like, he's going to crash and burn. This is above himself. We don't need to go there just yet. Let's wait to see what happens, okay? Tua is leading the league in a lot of stats. But for whatever reason, people want to poo-poo the fact that he has great weapons. And that's the reason why he's leading the league in a bunch of stats. Now, I remember the last 2 years because I was alive, all right? I'm old enough to remember what happened 2 years ago and what happened last year. Let's revisit. Tua's rookie year. He comes in to the league. They did a tank for Tua season prior, which they failed miserably at tanking. Let's just be honest. Because if they really were tanking, they would have lost that game to the Cincinnati Bengals, and we would have ended up number one and had our pick of the litter. But no, we won that overtime game. But anyway. And maybe we still take Tua. I don't know. But anyway. We are number 5. And we take Tua. Tua comes in. Brian Flores is his head coach. They have Ryan Fitzpatrick as well. They bring in Shane Gailey for Ryan Fitzpatrick so that Tua can sit for a year. Or for at least, till the bye week, which was supposed to be like week 8 or 9 or something like that. They ended up moving it up because of the hurricane and coming. There was a storm coming, so they had to move their bye week up because the first week was the bye week. Okay, I don't know if y'all remember all that, but I'm bringing it back up for you just in case you're like their bye week was after the sixth game. Yeah, I know it was supposed to be further out. It might have been week 11 or something like that, and then they moved it up after 6 games. It might have been something like that because they were 3-3 going into the bye week. I remember that. Tua was not supposed to play. Chan Gailey was there, hired to coach Fitzpatrick, and then after that season to make an offense for Tua. Tua was just coming off of a catastrophic hip injury. Hip injuries have to do with torque, okay? People think that you throw with your arm. Now, there are arm throwers and there are body torque throwers. Now, here's the difference. Dak Prescott, he's a hip thrower, okay? You always see him doing that little dance thing right before each game where they made like a whole little salsa thing out of it because he's trying to get his hips to torque and to get the muscle memory going and flex that muscle so he has no problems torquing his hips to get the horsepower on the ball. That is the way you're supposed to do it technique-wise. You get the most out of the least amount of energy from your arm and your elbow and your shoulder and all that by torquing, turning, with great mechanics and getting velocity on the football. Tua had a hip injury that took the hip out the socket and dislocated the hip. He needed time to heal that injury, okay? He comes in, unbeknownst to him, he's playing, okay? Unbeknownst to the fans as well. Granted, we wanted to see him. It wasn't the right time. And I'm going to speed through this because I'm taking my time right now, but trust me, we're going to fast forward because I've done this type of video before. All right, talking about this first part. All right, this is nothing new for people that have been around here for a while. And we're going in somewhere, so a direction real new in a second, but bear with me while I paint the picture as I like to do on my channel. So he came in, unbeknownst to him, unbeknownst to the fans, unbeknownst to everybody, although we wanted to see him, he shouldn't have played. He was winning, but it ain't look good. He was throwing up Zach Wilson numbers. 80 yards, 77 yards, 103 yards, 113 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, stuff like that. But we was winning. Okay? Think he went on like 4 game winning streak, something like that, before losing to the Broncos. So he was taking care of the football. He was, helping the team stay on schedule just enough to win games, while the defense was getting touchdowns and while the special teams was also getting touchdowns to help, right? So it was a complete team effort, mostly led by the defense. We know that. We're not taking nothing away from that. But he wasn't looking like a franchise quarterback because we didn't see no arm strength. He was just lofting the ball. It didn't look like he had any power on it. There was no real it factor outside of the Arizona game. In the Arizona game, it's like all of the talent that Tua had, he put it into that game, and then he had nothing else to give. Mind you, this guy was coming off of a really bad injury. So some of the fan base, recognizing that, gave him grace, while a lot of people in the organization, Flores, and amongst the fan base didn't care, didn't let him use that as an excuse, which Tua himself wouldn't use it as an excuse, but that one is as valid as they come. Coming off that type of injury, not expecting to play, Therefore, not knowing the the playbook very, very, very well, like he would say, Tua did not look the part. Because of that, going into the next season, everybody was like, we don't know. All right, we better see something because he should be healthy. They go out and get his 11 Elite 11 coach in Charlie Fry. They go have two offensive coordinators try to put together an RPO offense, a one-read RPO offense for Tua. How did that go? It went to the tune of Davis Mills numbers. 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 67% completion, 89.1 or something like that, or 9, I can't remember what it was, passer rating. 17th to 19th rank in the league. Just was abysmal numbers. And he got hurt on top of that, right? So, yes, Tua did look good at times. There was like a 2 or 3 game stretch where, I mean, hey, you saw something. You saw a little something there, okay? But he also had some boneheaded plays. A lot of the interceptions boneheaded and should have had more. There were some things there that were really good, and there were some things there that were really bad with Tua in that season. But did Tua have an offensive line? No. Did Tua have wide receivers? Real ones? Not really. And when he did have one in Devontae Parker, he was hurt half the time. All right, so he was in and out of the lineup. People at that point were off the Tua train. Others saw the potential. That's where we ended with that season. It was tumultuous because of the Deshaun Watson saga. Tua had to live through that. Offense didn't know what the heck they were doing. Kind of looks like the Patriots offense right now. No weapons. Offensive line was the worst in the league statistically. Why am I saying that? Why is that stuff important? Because right now, there's a quarterback that was lighting the league on fire the first 2 years, set all types of rookie records and records for the first 2 years in passing and touchdowns, that has had wide receiver issues and got sacked 5 times Sunday night. Who is that? That's Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is struggling right now. He's not playing up to his potential. Granted, his potential and his bars got moved way, way up because before the draft, nobody had him above Tua. And then when he played, everybody had him above Tua. And now there's a conversation again because although he has the strong arm and he's 6'6" and he can run and he can do this and that, he doesn't have as many weapons consistently. And offensive line is not bad. I'm not going to say the offensive line is bad. And he has a run game as well with Eckler, but it's not the best, all right? They're not completely healthy either. And nobody's making excuses. All right? I mean, and everybody is making excuses for him. When Tua, his first 2 years, after all I've mentioned about Tua, was going through what he was going through, not many excuses. They were saying, oh, is Tua the guy? They need to find out because, he doesn't have any wide receivers. That doesn't matter. Offensive line, that doesn't matter. He needs to play, me included at times. All right? Because there were games where it's like, bro, forget the offensive line. Are you going to make a play or not? Right? And some of it is rightfully so. Okay? So I'm not saying it to say that all of it was bad. Because some of it you have to point out. But he didn't get the excuses that Herbert is getting right now. He wasn't afforded that. They just said, you need to figure it out. While for Herbert, they're saying, oh, he missed Keenan Allen for a while, Mike Williams for a while. He's throwing the third and fourth string guys. So what? Okay? If you don't give that same excuse for Tua, don't give that excuse for Herbert. Herbert is being completely outplayed by Tua this season. It's not even close whatsoever. His QBR is in the 50s and Tua is 81. Like it's not even close at all. His passer ratings are 90. Tua's 118. Like, it's not close. Yeah, but Tua has Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Yes. And the previous years, Herbert had Mike Williams, a beast tight end, and Keenan Allen for all those games. But you looked at Tua like he was trash. Okay? Those same excuses weren't given. Can't be given now. All right? They weren't given then. Can't be given now. I don't care what Herbert has over there. He should be balling out because he that dude, right? Or do you actually need things around you for you to actually be that dude? And that's what we need to get at, right? Because if we're going to say that Herbert needs this and that, then Tua needs this and that as well. And now that Tua has this and that, guess what? Tua's balling. Okay? Tua's straight up balling. Now let's go ahead and dispel some things while we're at it. Oh, Tua's only doing this because of Yak. He's getting the ball out of his hands and he's giving it to the guys so they can make plays. It's funny y'all saying that, right? Tua is ranked like 33rd, 34th in Yak percentage. Yak percentage is, and I had to learn this from TD. Appreciate you for clarifying that, bro. Yak percentage is where you got your total yards, right? Tua has like 2,200 yards. And you got your Yak. Now, Waddle, Tyreek Hill, top 15 in Yak yards. But look at their total yards and look at their amount of Yak, okay? Look at Justin Jefferson's total yards. Look at his amount of Yak. Look at Stephon Diggs' total amount of yards, and look at his Yak. Their numbers are a little bit closer than Tyreek Hill's and Waddle's splits, okay? That means that they are having a lot of Yak, but they have a heck of a lot of yards. So, of course, they're going to have a lot of Yak. But the amount of Yak that they have to total yards is not nearly as much as some of the other guys in the league. Yak percentage. Tua's total yards versus the yards that he has allotted from the wide receivers after catch, the distance between those is a lot bigger than a lot of other quarterbacks. What does that mean? We're not relying on Yak, guys. Now, we do get Yak. Don't get us wrong. We get a lot of Yak. We're not relying on Yak. That's what that means. We're not relying on Yak, and it also does mean a little bit that ball placement hasn't been perfect at times. It means that, okay? But there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody's perfect. You're not going to go out there and throw every pass on the money. Sometimes you got to put a pass behind a little bit lower, a little bit high because of circumstances around you and because of where the defense is aligned, okay? There are some of those that you do need to hit, but some of those that, you're going to have to be a little off with at times, okay? He is one of the highest on target passes, so I'm not too worried about his accuracy. That's the last thing we're worried about with Tua. He's second in the league in accuracy. So I'm definitely not worried about him. And to further make the point, he has a 9 yard per completion average. Best in the league. So not only is Tua getting the ball out of his hands to wide receivers down the field, he's doing it at almost a first down a throw. Go figure. Last year, 6.7. Tied with Josh Allen. Okay? Tua is not no dink and dunk quarterback. He's the best deep thrower in the league. He's the best in the league on third down. and fourth down. He's the best in the league in the fourth quarter. He's the best in the league in a lot of areas. Okay? Tua is not just out here hoping and wishing. He's out here making it happen. That's what he's out here doing. Problem is this sustainable? Is it sustainable? Is what Tua is doing right now actually something that he can sustain, or is he just playing out of his mind? Let's take you all the way back. Tua was a highly touted, highly drafted quarterback. We're not talking about Zach Wilson at Brigham Young. Tua went to Alabama. He was the number 1 or number 2 dual threat, you heard that correctly, quarterback in the entire country coming out of Hawaii. Okay? He chose to go to Alabama to play over there with Nick Saban. His rookie year, he goes in for Hurts. Yes, that hurts. For those of you that may not know, that's in Philadelphia, lighting the league up right now. Same draft, by the way. He was drafted in the second round. I wanted him as a backup. That's besides the point. He goes in for him because he was thinking it up. And they wanted to win that game versus, I believe it was Georgia that they were playing, a rival. He goes in at halftime. They go on to win the game. Tua the next season is in a battle with Jalen Hurts for starting quarterback. The battle spills into the first 2 or 3 games of the year where they're splitting series. After a little while, Saban's like, yeah, Hurts, we'll use you on special downs. Tua's our guy moving forward. Tua becomes the most efficient quarterback in college football history. If not the, one of the. Was nominated for the Heisman, also, although he didn't win it. And was one of the best quarterbacks that have ever come through Alabama with his 87 touchdowns and I think 11 interceptions. He balled out during his time there. Gets injured. Tua was efficient, could throw the deep ball, intermediate, could look off defenders. We're going to get there. Trust me, I'm saving that for last. Could do all of these things in college before he got hurt. What are we seeing from Tua now? That he has the Henry Ruggses, the Jalen Waddles, the Smiths, the Judys around him. We're seeing Tua be the most efficient quarterback in the league, which he is right now at this very moment. Accuracy out of this world. Anticipation and the ability to look off defenders. Oh, by the way, an innate ability, and we thought, well, not we, a lot of people thought Tua was dumb, right? Because of his Wonderlic, the 13 he got on the Wonderlic, which doesn't mean anything when you're looking at actual football, because some guys just can play football, some can't. We see some bad football being played right now. We see it. So we can tell what is and what ain't. Tua has an innate ability to recognize what the defense is doing pre-snap, post-snap with the quickness. Who told everybody this? Well, that was Josh McCown. And it was Kirk Warner. Yes, Hall of Fame Kirk Warner, saying that Tua is processing out of this world right now. It's ridiculous how fast he's processing. Tua is not one reading anymore. Tua is not staring down anymore. Tua is not looking to one place and hoping that this guy is open over here. Tua is playing elite quarterback That's what Tua is doing at this moment. Tua is doing exactly what made him Tua at Alabama. Is this sustainable? If that's who Tua was at Alabama, and that's who we're seeing right now in the NFL as the number one quarterback statistically, besides, of course, because of injuries, yards, and touchdowns, outside of that, pretty much everything else, Tua's at the top, especially when it comes to efficiency. He's far and away the most efficient quarterback in the league. If he was doing that in college, is that not still sustainable right now? The answer is yes. Of course it's sustainable right now because he was already doing that. That's the reason why they drafted him. That's what they were hoping they were going to see the first 2 years. It did not work out. You grab a weapon or two. You put the same type of guys around him. You give him a coach that believes in him. And all of a sudden, Tua looks like Tua once looked like before the injury. Also, he's way healthier now. Tua is not playing football that he cannot sustain. Everything Tua is doing right now is because Tua has been putting in the work. Tua hasn't just stumbled onto success. Tua has been through the mud. He's been through the fire. He just came out the other end, and now you're seeing the better product. I'm not saying finished product because he ain't a finished product. He's got work to do. But you're seeing a better product after going through all the things that Tua has went through. After we have seen Tua go through what he's going through, he shouldn't be looking how he's looking right now. And sorry, if you see me in my nose, I feel like there's a mustache hair that's in my nose, tickling my nose or something like that. So I'm trying to wipe it away, but apparently it don't want to go nowhere. So it is what it is. Tua right now is he's playing very, very, very well. Okay, but it's not something that's not sustainable. It just, he's finally understanding who he is as a quarterback and how he can affect the game as a quarterback. And it's scary because you're looking at these all 22s and you're seeing him look a guy off, right? Throw it to a spot that the wide receiver is at, and you're seeing the linebackers like, oh my gosh, he did it to me again. Like, how am I supposed to, be able to bat a ball down if I don't know where the ball is going because this guy's eyes are everywhere, right? And like, it's got to be frustrating for the defense to be able to see that. But that's the type of ball he's playing right now. That's what he's on right now. Like, he's super accurate. The manipulation is, it's ridiculous. They're saying that the manipulation that Tua is on right now, it's on another level. A lot of quarterbacks, ex-quarterbacks are saying this. What they're also saying is that he's being smart. And that's not something we've previously equated to Tua. All right? In its previous years, we wouldn't call Tua smart. All right? On the field. That's not what we would call him. All right? Now, yes. Call the man smart. That's what he is. He's a smart quarterback on the field because he's not just out there blind. He sees exactly what the defense is doing. Why does it look so easy? Why does it look like any quarterback can come in there and do what Tua's doing? It's because Tua is making it look easy. Plain and simple. Tua is making it look easy. Something that ain't easy. Playing quarterback ain't easy. Tua's making it look like Tom Brady used to make it look back in the day. He's making it look like, you remember Tom Brady in 2007? Tom Brady in 2007 used to throw the ball. And then when he had Randy Moss, he'll throw the ball, and then he's putting his hands in his warmer, and he's walking off to the sideline like, yeah. And it's like, bro, like, is it this easy for you to get 50 touchdowns? Like, is it this easy? That's how Tua's making it look right now. Everybody's like, oh, you plug anybody. No. Stop it. You can't plug anybody in and think that they're going to get the. You can't plug Zach Wilson in and think that he's going to get these numbers. I guarantee you that because he's got weapons over where he at, and he still ain't had no doggone 100 yards that last game. So you can't just plug anybody in. You can't do that because this type of offense that you're running, is predicated on Tua's skill set. They didn't predicate it on putting anybody in there. Why do I know that to be true? Because some people are like, how do you know that? Skylar Thompson played. Bridgewater played. Yes. You can get the numbers. You can get the yards. Because you got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle. You can't get the points. You put Tua in, 30 points. You put these other quarterbacks in, 17 points. That's the difference. That is the difference. Tua is going to keep you on schedule. That's his niche. Okay? That's the Drew Brees-like ability in him. He's going to keep you on schedule. Most of the time, you're going to be in third and short, and you're going to get it. But here's the kicker with Tua. You don't have to be in third and short to get it. He's one of the best quarterbacks on third and long in the league. Period. He's the best quarterback on third down in the league. Period. 142 QB rating, passer rating. He's balling out on the money downs. Beast in the red zone as well. The man's got 3 interceptions to 18 touchdowns. Herbert doesn't have those numbers. Herbert has 16 touchdowns in 2 more games. Like 6 or 7 interceptions. Tua is also, when it comes to sacks, has the lowest, or Tua also has the lowest sack rate in the league at this point, at 1.3%. So Tua, not only is he the most efficient quarterback, but he's also the least sacked quarterback, which also helps him stay healthy. If Tua was the most sacked quarterback in the league, he couldn't keep this up. Tua gets rid of the football. He diagnoses fast so he can get rid of the football. And he can evade and has great pocket presence. You plug Tannehill into this offense, you don't get the same production because Tannehill can't maneuver the pocket to save his life. He couldn't do it while he was here. He still can't do it now because he's one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the doggone league again. You can't just plug anybody into this offense and get what Tua is giving. It won't happen. It can't happen. It's not going to magically happen out of nowhere. It's not how this works. Tua is balling. Tua is on another level right now. Tua is not the same Tua you used to know, but Tua is not perfect. And this is where we're going to end the video. Although Tua is playing very, very good football right now, Tua will have a bad game. Now, what is Tua's new bad game? I don't know. We're going to find out. But let's hope it's in the ballpark of 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 300 yards. Or 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 200 yards. Or 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 250 yards. Like something like that. Let's hope that he's still having the touchdown production, but the interception rate goes up on a bad game. And that it's not reverting back to the old days of 130 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Okay? Let's hope that it's not that. Because the bad game will come. And we don't need the fan base souring on Tua because of a bad game. Because he's due for a bad game. And it's okay if he has one because he's human. He's not going to have 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions every game. That's not something that's possible. Okay? Because if it was, we would have a quarterback in the league. All right? And I'm not going to even count 17 games. I'm just going to do 16. Okay? 3 times 16. Actually, it is possible. Overall. But yeah, you're not going to have 3 touchdowns every game. All right, that's 48 touchdowns. Dan Marino did it. Tom Brady did it. Pat Mahomes did it. Drew Brees did it, I believe. Peyton Manning did it. Herbert got close. So you can average 3 touchdowns a game. But we're not expecting Tua on 15 games for the season, or 14 games for the season, to average 3 touchdowns a game. We're not expecting that. So Tua will have a game where he doesn't look like he's been looking. But we're not seeing a Tua that should regress. In my opinion, this is not a Tua that is going to be coming down from the mountain. This is a Tua that he's here to stay. Now, I could be wrong, right? But I don't believe I am. I believe that this is the Tua that we're going to see for the foreseeable future. Granted, he may have a bad game here or there. Herbert has bad games. Everybody has bad games. Joe Burrow has had bad games. It's going to happen. All right? And then when you are missing guys, you might have less production because it's not just you. It's everybody else around you that also helps. All right? And making this thing work. But he is a part of the solution now. He's not holding the team back. He is in the front, leading this team in the right direction. We now have ourselves a real quarterback, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. The last thing people want to see right now is how Tua plays in cold weather. Now, I understand the questions, but let's be a little realistic when it comes to that. Yes, do we want to see how Tua plays in the cold? Of course. Because the Buffalo game soured us and the Tennessee game soured us. But let's not act like Tua wasn't throwing the ball up. Okay? Like, this is where it kills me. We're worried about arm strength? Really? Is that what we're really worried about? Are we worried about arm strength for real? Are we really worried about wind? That's what we're worried about. Tua can kill you any kind of way. Like, let's not get it twisted. You can't stop this offense. Okay? This is not an offense you can stop. Tua doesn't need to throw it 50 yards. He can kill you in the 10 to 20. He's the best 10 to 20 yard thrower, statistic-wise, in the league. He does not need to go 50 yards down the field to kill you. All right, so we gotta calm down a little bit because, yeah, we want to see him in the rain. We want to make sure the ball's not slipping out of his hands. But against Tennessee, he threw a 40-some yard dime to Waddle towards the end of that game. Any arm strength problems with that play? We got to relax sometimes because we'll see something and we'll ignore it like it didn't happen. Or we need to see if he could. We saw it, okay? He threw it 40-some yards down the field on a dime to Waddle with pressure coming in his face. Like, Tua's going to be fine, okay? Yes, if we got to throw a Hail Mary, we better be at the 40 doggone yard line. Let's just be honest, all right? Because he's got to back up about 10 yards. He's got to get a running start and throw it to the end zone. Okay, yes. But if it ain't that, we're going to be fine. Because he's going to kill you in the intermediate regardless of weather. All right, that's not going to be a problem. And then if that is a problem, we got the run game. Run game should be here to stay, hopefully. Because we're going to need it. If the run game is here to stay, what are we worried about? Really, what are we worried about? Okay? We got a quarterback. Plain and simple. Now, whether you want to believe that or not, that's up to you. But let's use common sense here. Yes, we need to see some things from Tua still. But we've seen enough already. All right? To say, okay, this guy's legit. You don't have games that Tua's been having for you not to say, okay, this is not legit. All right? We saw it now. If we didn't see it in college, then maybe we could say that. But we saw it in college with the same type of weapons. If we're going to see something like that in college, we got to assume that what we're seeing right now, if it is what we saw in college, is who he is. It's common sense. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all already know what it is. Fins up till we die. Happy Thanksgiving to all of y'all. I'm thankful for y'all. I hope y'all are thankful for what you're seeing this season out of our squad. Fins up till we die. See y'all later. Love y'all.